In this video, we're going to be reviewing TurboTax Online. Specifically, we're looking for how user-friendly it is and how reliable the calculations are, whether they're able to calculate tax credits and tax deductions as reliably as I think they should. And there's very specific things that I'll be putting into it, and so I know what to expect the outputs to be. But if this is the first time we've met, my name's Kip Lewis. I'm a CPA, I have my master's degree in accountancy with an emphasis in taxation, and I spend a lot of time doing taxes. And so let's get to the video. So here's the TurboTax Online account that I've set up. I've already gone through and entered a bunch of my personal information, some wage and income information, gone through the deductions and credits, all of these different files I've gone through except for the state taxes. I chose Nevada as my state because they don't have to file state taxes, they don't have state income tax. But now this is the opening screen when I log back in to continue working on my taxes. This is what shows up. And so I'm not going to go through everything in this video. What I am going to do is just kind of give my overall thoughts and feelings on things. One thing that I really like, and you'll see it as I get into the screen, as I edit my income, you'll notice that the boxes here on the input screen match the boxes on the form W-2. And so I really like that. That's how it is with most of these input screens, is they match the forms that they're associated with. So for education credits, they have a form 1098-T, and they show the different boxes there. For here, we see that box 1, box 3, box 5, they all match what would be on the form W-2. And so I like that. Not all online platforms use that. Not all online platforms have that available. And so that was one thing that I thought was pretty nifty, one thing that I think should be implemented in online platforms, is that user-friendliness of having the forms match the input screens. So I thought that was pretty good. One thing that I was less impressed with in their deductions and credits, if we move over to that portion, it does show me the different credits that I'm getting, which is pretty cool. But it doesn't give me calculations. It doesn't show me how they're coming up with what they're getting. In particular, you see the expenses from scholarships, the Form 1098-T. If I add and edit this one, they go through a bunch of questions for me, but they don't show me their calculations. And these questions, they are good questions, but they don't give me the option to optimize my education credit. You'll notice I've selected these answers, and the income amounts that I've chosen have been specifically so I can optimize this one credit. This is the credit that I've noticed most online platforms have a really hard time with, and so I wanted to test it out for this year. So as I go through each of these questions, you will see that the maximum credit that you can get for the American Opportunity Tax Credit, which is the best education credit, it's $2,500. That's what I want. And as it goes through, they're maximizing my education tax breaks. Cool. Analyzing expenses, analyzing tax breaks, calculating amounts, finding the best savings. Excellent. So if they optimized it the way that they should, and according to what I've input, it should come up with $2,500. And you can see that's not the case. 1563, that's still pretty good, but it's not the best. It's not what I wanted. I wanted to see $2,500 there, because if I'm getting that full amount, that means I'm also tapping into the refundable portion, which means cash in my pocket. And because it's not showing me the calculation, I don't know why I'm not getting the full amount. It's most likely because there's not tax to eat up the non-refundable portion, but I don't know that for sure. And because they're not showing me their calculations, they're not showing me how they came up with what they came up with, I just have to assume that they're correct. So this last question they're asking is just to see if I've been denied the credit in the past, which I'll just say no. I do like that they were able to maximize my child and other dependent tax credits. $2,000 is the child tax credit, but most of that's non-refundable. When you get this $1,400 tax credit from It's the additional child tax credit, and it's essentially the refundable portion of the child tax credit. That wasn't really information that you needed to know, but there you go. So ultimately, I'm kind of disappointed in the lack of calculations. I guess they can't really show you how they're calculating things, because then you might just use their calculations and file it yourself. Other things that I did like, the other tax situations, they're rare things, but see all uncommon tax situations. It's alternative minimum tax. That's for if you're having a lot of money. Business taxes and deductions, they're going to charge you even more for that. If I did some estimated tax payments, didn't do that. Other return info. If you had identity theft in the past, other tax forms. If you have to amend, if you have to file an extension. Interesting. So I've never actually looked at any of these ones before, but it's good to know that they're here. Let's keep going. The one thing I don't like is if you do misclick on something, then it'll kind of take you in a loop. You have to redo the process over and over and over again, especially with like the education credits that we just went through. Notice there wasn't a place for me to change the numbers that I input. So if you input something incorrectly the first time, you have to really go searching to figure out how to change it. Not a huge fan of that. Another thing is they'll continue to try and up the amounts that you're paying. Yeah, Nevada doesn't owe one, I know. Okay, check my info. This is going to be pretty cool. Yeah, see, I just love this. It makes me feel like something's happening. Complete check. Booyah. Sweet. Taxes done right, guaranteed. See, I don't know how they can say this. 100% accurate, maximum refund, complete check. I disagree. I do. In about the $55,000 to $60,000 range is when I really start discouraging people from using online softwares, because that's when TurboTax starts making mistakes with the tax credits that are available to you, with the different types of deductions that you're able to take. Another thing that I don't necessarily like is how they continue to try and up the amount that I'm paying them. Look, I'm going to defend and restore. That full audit representation here is actually a pretty good deal. I looked into it a little bit, and what they're offering is pretty substantial. And getting it for $50, that's kind of a steal. Still wouldn't do it because, well, I just wouldn't. So they keep trying to upsell you on things. The audit protection, the identity theft protection, all of those things. Kind of frustrating sometimes. Oh, I didn't know that you get a 34% discount if you file early. I wonder what early filing is to them. Here again, they're trying to upsell me to get the max benefits. I'm going to view my payment options. There's two options. You can pay with a credit card or you can pay with your refund. If you pay with your refund, I think, yep, right there, premium service benefits, $45. So you're going to pay them $45 out of your refund and an additional $45 in order to use your refund instead of paying for them up front, which, that's actually pretty smart on their side. Interesting. But it's kind of just to wrap up my thoughts, because I'm not going to go through the rest of this process. Ultimately, TurboTax, it was pretty user-friendly. I like the input screens. I like the fact that you can go through and edit things. I don't like how it takes you around in loops. If you misclick something, then you have to go around and around and around. I also don't like how a lot of times you can't change your inputs. With the education credits specifically. And the education credits, if you're going to school, I would not suggest using TurboTax Online. I would actually probably refer you to H&R Block Online, because one, it's free for students, and two, well, actually, the one time that I used H&R Block Online just to test it out, they also didn't do the credits right. And so it might be worth it for you to just do it yourself or find someone that can help you with it, because getting those education credits maximized, it's worth spending a little bit more money. It's more money in your pocket. It really is. But yeah, trying to upsell you in things is annoying, but the audit protection is actually a really good deal, especially if there's other protections that they're offering at the same time. I think that that's actually a really good deal. Also, one of the features that is available that I did not use is most of the tax forms, you can just snap a picture. You don't have to input them yourself by hand. You can, and that's what I chose to do, because obviously I'm not using real forms. But if you have the form, you can snap a picture and there it is. That's one thing that I think is really cool. Also, state taxes. That's really where they're going to get you. The free filing with TurboTax isn't great, but especially if you're having to file a state tax return, they charge you for every state, even if you're using the free file software. Ultimately, TurboTax Online, I do think there were some improvements that they made, a little bit more user-friendly than it was for the 2018 filing year. But ultimately, they still don't calculate everything the way that I would, and I know that my way is correct because I've gone through the calculations, I've gone through the regulations and the instructions. Yeah, it's what I do in my free time. It's pretty fun. Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful, and I hope that you get your taxes done quick, because you've got 1 month to file your business returns and another month to file your personals. So 2 months away, guys. And if you did find this video helpful, which I'm sure you did, I encourage you to hit that like button and go ahead and ring the bell to subscribe, and keep your eyes out for more tax tips and tools to help you answer the questions you didn't know you had. Get it done. Good luck.